CNBC TV 18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.
Hello and welcome to Markets Today. I'm Lata Venkatesh and with me is Surabhi Upadhyay. Well, it was a nothing kind of market for the better part because volumes were pathetic, but you can console yourself because by end of day you did see the advance declines moving firmly in favor of advances, the mid-caps registering a fairly decent gain, and even the Sensex and the Nifty after a fairly flat performance ending with about a quarter percentage point in terms of gains. So not a bad day after all.
Hi Lata, quiet but not bad. You can almost feel the holiday season is around because it's been very thin in terms of actual real big action. But anyway, let's get you the headlines. Quiet Friday on Dalal Street as markets remain range-bound in holiday season. Nifty ends 0.3% higher at 8,200. The Sensex shuts shop with a 30-point gain. Bank and IT stocks see some buying, but FMCG majors are at the losing end in trade today.
Finance Ministry pushes the target for zero effective revenue deficit by 1 year to March 31st, 2016. Says will spend only 40,000 crores in fuel subsidy in FY17 against 63,000 crores in the current year, but expects spending on food and fertilizer subsidies to rise steadily over the next 2 years.
Slight outperformance today from the mid-cap space with the mid-cap index up 0.5%. SpiceJet gains another 9% on hopes of a revival plan. PSU banks like IOB, Allahabad, Andhra and UCO rally between 4 to 5%. MTNL, however, falls 4% in the absence of any new revival fine print.
All right, those were the headlines, and here are the experts that we have lined up on the show for you today. Market perspective from UR Bhatt. Also, Sudarshan Sukhani to talk about the technicals, and on the policy front, the Minister of State for Finance, Jayant Sinha, will talk about the fiscal picture. We'll also get you the managements of some of the companies that were in the news today.
But before that, let's straight away get to the day's trading action. A range-bound session with very little participation kept trade on a tight leash today. Anuj is here with all the day's trading highlights. Anuj.
Well, a flat day for the market with very low volumes as per the script really. It was a day which was the first day of new series and it was sandwiched between the Christmas holiday and the weekend. So it was always expected that the volumes would never be there and the market would move within 20 or 30 points after making a bit of a base, and that's what happened in trade today. The market is now at very close support mark of close to 81.80. In terms of individual stocks, IT stocks did well. Tech Mahindra, Infosys, HCL Tech, TCS, all of them were higher. And then you had financial stocks gaining ground, so HDFC, PNB, Bank of Baroda, they were doing well. On the losing side, two stocks dragged the market today, ITC and Lever, and maybe you could add ICICI and Maruti as well to that list. And in the mid-cap basket, it was all about the mid-cap PSU banks. So really, the key for the market now is that will the volumes pick up next month, or next week rather, and once the FIs are back, what kind of trading positions or what kind of investment positions will they take in this market?
Well, one standout performer which Anuj left out for me to speak about was the banking index, especially the PSU banks. It was not a performance that was led by the ICICIs and the IndusInds of the world. It was largely a PSU performance where Union Bank, Bank of India, Canara Bank, Punjab National Bank, those were the banks that were heading. And that's largely because of what you saw over there. The Prime Minister and the Finance Minister calling for a meeting of the PSU bank chiefs on the 2nd and 3rd of January, where they want to hammer out some reforms. And the main things that they will be discussing: consolidation of banks, financial inclusion with an eye on direct subsidies being routed through banks, getting a global level technology into the picture, information technology, and then capitalizing the banks, effective risk profiling, recovery mechanisms, probably more debt recovery tribunals. Well, all these are run-of-the-mill issues that have been discussed in the past. But the fact that the FM and the PM are themselves coming and addressing, and the PM in particular addressing this set of bankers and wanting to hammer out a blueprint, has given the sense that there is going to be something big that could be garnered or that could be drawn out of this seminar. This is at least the view taken by Motilal Oswal. That's one of the companies that has always been backing PSU banks, and this report from Motilal Oswal today says that They are expecting some big announcements from this January 2nd, January 3rd off-site of bankers. They have a buy on SBI, PNB and Union Bank, but the entire PSU banking lot had a fairly good day, certainly an outperforming day. It's a sector you can watch out for. Even without this impetus coming in, they were the leaders of the market over the past 2 days.
Absolutely. Market's getting a little excited, looking forward to this event in the first week of January. All right, let's now move to some market opinion. We spoke with UR Bhatt, Managing Director of Dalton Capital Advisors earlier in the day, and he expects the Nifty to be in the range of 7,900 to about 8,300 till the budget.
I don't think the market will fall dramatically. I think the last fall was just sort of dropped below 8,000, but I think that 7,900 or thereabout should be a very good support. But I think the run-up to the budget, there might be a lot of expectations, and the market will probably go nearer to the recent highs. But that's quite a wide range. But I think the run-up will probably happen in the run-up in the expectations of the budget sometime in late January, early February. But till then, there's nothing much to really take the market up dramatically. I think the market would be till about the third week of January. I think it should be around these levels, 8,000, 8,200, 8,300 levels. We can have 2 good years, but probably not as good as 2014. Everything depends on some movement forward on the policy front. That probably would get known in the budget. So I think the budget is going to be a very big determinant, because last budget there was not enough time for the government to put a stamp on it. But this budget has got to be dramatically different. All that they said they would do has to come out in the budget. So I think budget is a very big event. The auctions, the spectrum auction is very important, because how much is going to be paid for that? That I think is a very important sort of determinant of the course forward for telecom stocks. So I think we should watch that space closely. It's a period of uncertainty for the next year or two. After that, I think we'll find who are the winners and who are the ones who will probably who are the steady performers. Right now, I don't know whether it's certainly a long-term call to be made, but short-term, I think there will be quite some disruptions there.
Time permitting, we'll return to the telecom issue, especially the fact that Bharti is now charging differently for voice over internet protocol. Basically, they're going to charge you more for your Skype calls. First, the action from the FNO space. Let's go across to Varinder Bansal.
So thank you so much. Slight gains for Nifty, clearly. If you're watching out for the options data, clearly 8200 put has been seeing writing, which clearly suggesting that the market is assuming that 8150 could be the base if you remove the premium from that option. Also important was that 8500, 8600, there is some call writing happening in. But you're seeing some buying happening at 8400 call, which is suggesting that the market may look at further upside from the current levels when they open on Monday. Clearly it was the day clearly belonged to the PSU banking space. You can put your finger on any stock, whether it is Union Bank of India, Syndicate Bank, Andhra Bank, Bank of India, all these stocks were very strong. Open interest build up over there, long build up seen ahead of that crucial Jan 2nd and 3rd meeting with the Prime Minister and Finance Minister. TVS Motor was also up nearly 4%, open interest up by nearly 10%. Unitech has been seeing some buying since last 2 days. Today the stock was up nearly 4%, open interest going up by nearly 7%. And 2 stocks which have been strong, PFC and RAC, both stocks were up anywhere between 3.5%. But you were seeing long build up and accumulation happening on both the stocks. And 2 stocks from the same group, Adani Port and Adani Enterprise. Again, these stocks have started moving now. Both the stocks are up anywhere between 2 to 3%. But you were seeing long accumulation happening on both the stocks.
All right, Varinder, thanks so much for that. But Lata was just talking about, of course, news on Bharti. The fact that the company has been in focus after it actually hiked rates for voice-over internet protocol calls like Skype or Viber. Now, will this move prove to be a costly one for the company? Reema Tendulkar has been looking at what competition is saying and what analysts on the street are saying. Reema, what did you pick up?
Thanks so much for that. An interesting move for the entire telecom sector. Bharti Airtel has indicated that they will be charging higher tariffs for VoIP players like Skype, Viber. Now, data consumed on Skype, Viber, etc. can no longer be a part of your bulk, data plan. They will be charged on per consumption or pay as you go. Now, this will seriously raise the kind of, increase the tariffs for, these voice calls. Basically, the way WhatsApp has killed SMS, telecom operators do not, like Bharti Bharti Airtel does not want the same thing to happen for its international voice calls. The way forward will really depend on whether the other operators follow suit. We had one consultant from KPMG, Romal Shetty, who indicated that he expects the other operators like Idea, Vodafone to also adopt the same strategy as Bharti Airtel, but that only time will tell. Kotak has come out with an interesting report where they say that this move is a risky one and it can be counterproductive if the other operators do not follow suit. And apart from that, they said that it opens up a window, a differentiation strategy for Rel Jio to also enter into the market. And remember, this also breaches the concept of net neutrality. While it's not a law, it is accepted, which basically means that data on the internet will not be differentiated upon and will be charged equally. So this move also, breaches that net neutrality concept. But let's see, it's interesting times for the telecom operators for sure.
Oh, yes, sir. And if the others were to follow suit, it will be interesting to see what the telecom regulator does about it. We just have the airports regulator, airlines regulator saying you can't charge over 20,000 rupees.
Maximum and minimum.
Absolutely. Fares, yeah. So, I don't see why the regulator will not take a call on this. But let's see what the competition does after Bharti's move. Well, moving on to news from other policy spaces. A few days after CNBC TV18 reported that the government is likely to stick to its 3.6% fiscal deficit target for next year, FY16, the Minister of State for Finance, Jayant Sinha, confirmed the same. But Sinha also said that the 14th Finance Commission's suggestion of hiking the tax devolution to the states will exert some strain on the government's balance sheets. Let's listen in to Mr. Sinha.
Well, we have laid out a fiscal consolidation roadmap which demonstrates the sound economic management that we have undertaken since our government came to power. And as you know, as part of that, we have said, the 4.1% fiscal deficit going down to 3.6%, going down to 3%, which will bring us in line with the FRBM. And we are very much still on that roadmap. We think it's very important to be able to demonstrate that fiscal prudence that the Honorable Finance Minister has spoken about, and that establishes our credibility globally as well. We also have to take into account what the impact of the new GST is going to be as well. So as we move forward over the next few years, it is entirely correct to say that the overall fiscal situation is going to change quite a bit. There is also a pay commission that's coming up that will also bring some significant changes. So we are seized of all those matters. We are considering all of those. We have a very thorough analytical approach to dealing with all of that. And obviously that will all be factored into the budget that we'll be presenting in February.
All right, speaking of the GST, the government is, of course, pulling out all stops to get states on board for the goods and services tax. The chairman of the Central Board of Excise and Customs says he's quite confident the GST will be rolled out by April 2016. The CBEC chief also believes that GST will increase the tax base quite significantly. However, he adds that it will also increase challenges for his own department.
GST, the tax base is being widened separately. The stage of taxation for the indirect central excise levy, which is now at the manufacturing stage, that is going to go up to the supply stage, that is at the to the retail level. So there is going to be a significant increase in the tax base as well as the economic activity which we are going to tax now, which we are going to be responsible.
All right, on that note, time for us to slip into a quick break. Coming up on the other side, Sudarshan Sukhani will be joining in for a technical chat. We'll also tell you what to watch out for next week.
CNBC TV18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.